Did the felon have a stroke about 2 weeks ago? And is he being over medicated? Is he going to have another stroke? And has the energy shifted around his health? Welcome to Scrying Out Loud. My name is Trevor. First off, a huge thank you to everybody who's subscribed to the channel. Thank you for all your likes, your shares, your comments. Truly appreciate all of them. I try to get to all your comments. I'm not always successful at it, but I try to. Um, So a couple weeks ago, I posted a video, something big is going to happen this weekend. And it felt to me like he was going to have something similar to a stroke then. And then I was scrying this morning. So I'm recording this early Friday morning on the East Coast, Friday, May the 2nd. And I got some similar images of people responding to him being laid out on the ground. It was very clear they were giving him like the smile test, where you smile and they make sure that your smile goes up on both sides the same distance, right? Otherwise, it's an indication of a stroke. And this felt like it was in the past. The scene was extraordinarily similar to the images I had seen 2 weeks ago. And then he fell asleep at the Pope's funeral. He fell asleep during a cabinet meeting. He confused Harlem and Harvard, which pretty hard to confuse, during an interview. And I felt like this energy shift a few, I don't know, 10 days ago or so, where I have this more like optimistic kind of energy about what's going on. Not that it's not terrible, because it's absolutely terrible. I'm not saying that. I just feel like it might come to an end quicker than what we've been thinking. Um, so I want to look into that. And um, so I think the questions we need to ask is, did he actually have a stroke, 10 days ago, 14 days ago, somewhere around that range of 2 weeks ago? And this falling asleep thing, we saw it happen at the court case. I think the fraud trial in New York. He fell asleep at the trial. Other than that, I don't, maybe it's just because I try not to pay attention more than I need to, and I read a lot more than I watch. I don't remember him falling asleep in other situations like that. His energy level does seem rather dissipated from the little bit that I have listened to him talk. Um, and I've been seeing him like having this moment, and I talked about this, I think, in the last video or the video before, about there being this moment sometime this month where it feels like he like loses his train of thought, and he has kind of like a Mitch McConnell moment where he's just paused for, not a super long amount of time, but like 8, maybe 10 seconds, which is enough to notice. And he has this look in his eyes where he like doesn't really know where he's at. And that's been very vivid in my mind. And then when I was scrying this morning, I saw the past event, and then there's this future event, and it feels like it takes place on Air Force One, um, where he kind of just like he gets up to walk and he can't um, move his leg. It's like his leg is asleep, kind of a thing, but that's not really what's going on, because he can't also lift his arm on his right side. Um, and then, I was shown like some medical intervention of some drug, like immediate drug treatment on the plane, and then they land. Of course, I always have said that they're going to try to keep these things secret because, he really is so vain that in his mind, he's not allowed to have any faults. What he doesn't realize is he has a lot of faults. So let's look into all that. Let's start and see about this past incident, and then we'll just kind of move through. I have a feeling that he's on some medication because he did have a stroke. Now, I don't think it was a massive stroke or anything, but definitely significant enough that he would still be suffering the after effects of it. So, did the felon have a stroke a couple weeks ago, somewhere in that time? Show us the emojis around that. So, and I think I didn't rewatch the video, and I often don't remember things I say when I get into meditation, but I think I said something like it felt like he was throwing an empty pill bottle against the mirror or a pill bottle. And I don't think he likes the way the medicine makes him feel. So let's just see. Did he have a stroke? Or stroke-like event? A mini stroke, a stroke. Yeah. So see the hanged man in the water, which is pausing and suspending. And I think that's exactly how it felt to him. Was like he couldn't move his body the way you'd normally be able to move it. Like one side of it moved less, or however you want to describe it. And this incident on Air Force One that I keep seeing feels very much like that too. So yeah, it's a new reality. He's living through a new reality. It's like starting over new because of this incident, this stroke is what I'm calling it. For entertainment purposes only. All my tarot readings are for entertainment purposes only. If you want a full description, you can look in the video description. Yeah, the fates turned. The wheel of fortune is in the environment around. They didn't fall in his favor. Justice in the upper right, like a karmic justice. Now, don't really wish ill health on anyone, but when the person's causing great harm to people around you, it's kind of at least hard not to have some Schadenfreude type feelings. So karmic justice, all of these are yes cards, by the way. The environment around circles of support around money or health, in this case, the Three of Pentacles. I think that he's traveling with people that know what's going on. If we had a working media in this country, we would probably know more about that. Yeah, some sort of message came forward about his health, which is at the center of the reading. And it's a slow moving message. It's something that slowed him down, like physically slowed him down. And here he is in his own reading, the King of Pentacles, this confirmation that we're on the right track here. So, of course, he's in the environment around. And it's like this fiery new beginning. It's like he doesn't know how to handle it, right? So he's got to be careful with his stress level, I think is probably the advice he's getting, but he doesn't know how to handle that. And so to him, this is like, it's just all new. That's why the full card's here. That's why we get the Ace of Wands as well. We get victory in the environment around. This wasn't, well, this could have been like a life-threatening event. It was stopped in time. The medical intervention worked. But we're going to get full illumination about this soon. So I feel really strongly that this is what happened. So, he's seeing this new reality around this message that he got about his health. So he has this new reality with the full card around finding out that he's had a stroke. And eventually we're all going to find out about it. The sun's going to shine a light on it. So he has this new beginning because of what he found out about his health. And really, this event around his health was all about justice and a karmic justice, but also justice for all the craziness that's going around to slow it down, to hopefully put an end to it soon, because it's not in balance with what is supposed to be happening. In the environment around, he has pretty good doctors. They were able to quickly resolve the issue, so to speak. The after effects are still there. We'll look into that. Here he is in his own reading, and then realizing that the fates turned against him in this instance. So, yeah, he moved away from the trouble watered, but it was kind of his own making. Like, he got worked up into a tizzy over some of the court decisions, and like, don't get me wrong, like a healthy person can get really angry and not have a stroke, right? An unhealthy person that cannot necessarily have that happen, right? And here's the hanged man that I was seeing in the water. It's just a state of pausing and suspension. He's kind of unsure of how to say. He doesn't really. He's scared. Like, he doesn't know that emotion necessarily, but he's kind of unsure of how to proceed. And that's why we're getting the hanged man. It's like this could happen again, and he felt like he was paralyzed, basically. He felt like he couldn't move, but they acted very quickly. So I don't think he's got any permanent damage more than what he already had. But this is definitely the end of a very big cycle for him. And we're gonna get things coming to the surface. I actually think this card's relevant too. I feel like this is him being handed some medicine, which we're going to get into next, and him not wanting it, the Four of Cups. So I I think that was right a couple weekends ago, that there was a big event. Um, yeah, it just I think that explains some of the lethargy, or I didn't pronounce that word correctly, but you know what I mean. Okay, so is he being given medication, and is he being over medicated, or is he adjusting to it? Is he having problems with it? What's going on there? This falling asleep thing, the Pope's funeral, maybe I wouldn't thought too much about that being, long flight, being outside. But then at the cabinet meeting, that seemed really uncharacteristic. But like I say, I mostly read the news. I don't like watch videos very often. So I could be wrong about that. Maybe he fell asleep all the time, but I don't remember. I don't know. The only time I remember that happening was at the fraud trial in New York. So, and who knows, something might have happened back then too. He's definitely in serious cognitive decline, constantly mixing up things. Asked a question about Harvard, answers about Harlem and how he won a bunch of the black vote, which isn't really true. And not that he knows what the truth is anymore. Just very confusing and baffling statements. And this obsession with, he said, he would like to be Pope. I mean, that's just crazy town, right? That's you need to, I mean, if that were a parent or a child, or I mean, you would be looking at taking them to the mental ward of a hospital, right? Getting them some psychiatric intervention. I mean, and I don't think he's joking because he doesn't seem to ever joke about anything. In fact, I don't think I've ever heard him laugh. Is he being over medicated? Yeah, getting the image of a pill bottle. It has, I don't know what these, I don't know enough about medicine to know what these are, but they're like little pink pills, pink, orange, like really tiny. Beta blockers? Would they give beta blockers if you had a stroke? Would you start taking beta blockers? I don't know. Maybe the cards will help. Okay, is he being over medicated? Yeah, he's got to learn how to live with this new medication. I don't know that he's being over medicated, but he's not used to it. So therefore, what is the correct dosage seems like too much. And he's just not used to it. It's like a crossroads. He started this new medication. He's not used to it, so therefore it's having some side effects. The Ten of Pentacles again seems to appear a lot with his readings. This is about inheritance. Could have to do with wealth, but it's really the inheritance card. I think family's really on his mind. And, I don't really think of him as being a very self-aware person, but I would think, if you're getting to that point of thinking about your mortality, your family's probably on your mind more. We get Elon Musk and the environment around. I think he really regrets selling his soul to Elon Musk, but I don't really think he had a choice. If you want to look into those readings, you can. They're on this channel. Um, yeah, if one plan doesn't work, try another. They might try a different medication than the one that they're currently trying. Again, circles of support. So this is being recommended by the doctors. Yeah, it's a new beginning. He's not used to this new beginning around his health. He's not used to fearing for his mortality, at least not to this extent. I think, you know, on some levels, we all have a sense of our mortality. The Six of Cups, again, really thinking about that his family, the next generation. Of course, just his prodigy, you know the word I'm trying to say. Sometimes I used to stutter when I was a kid. So um, thinking about his kids and grandkids and the Two of Pentacles, just juggling too much when it comes to his health. Pentacles here are representing health, and there's a lot of them. So it's like this new medication is supposed to moderate things down or moderate things so that he's safe. His blood pressure is being regulated, right? His, probably thinning his blood a little bit, like a heparin type drug, something along those lines, so that there won't be a reoccurrence of this. But it seems like that might not be working, that they might be thinking of a new plan. And there's just a lot of juggling going around his health. And so things are constantly changing. And I think that's why we're seeing more displays of cognitive issues, as well as this falling asleep thing. So yeah, it's a new beginning around his health. They're trying to figure out what will work. And in the meantime, he's kind of obsessing about his inheritance that he's going to leave the kids and how that's all going to work. And in the environment around, he realizes this is a major change for him. Elon Musk appearing in the reading could be for a couple different things. One, I think this just causes him stress. Like he's just stressed about the stock market, stressed about the economy, stressed about the dirt that Elon has on him. He's worried about what his family will think about everything. And then, but he does have some support, medical support around him. So underneath the hanged man again, it's like this, it's like a state of being paused and suspended. Like he's really not sure how to move forward from this incident. It's like, I mean, we never have a choice, right? We always have to move forward. We don't get a choice. It's just in our heads that we think we do. Um, but he's really hung up on this incident. It's really rattled him. I don't think that's going to be some sort of behavioral change, like to start to help start doing better things, acting more moral, nothing like that. But he has all the health practitioners he wants at his disposal. But yeah, he's very ill. The Four of Swords, which is the minor arcana death card. He feels very isolated, very alone, can't really talk about it. And, a surprising new beginning, more new beginnings, something that's completely inevitable. What's inevitable? Judgment. Judgment day's coming. I think that's a death representation. So, yeah, is he being over medicated? I don't know that he's being over medicated. I don't think they figured out the correct medication for him, or he's adjusting to it, or they haven't figured out the correct dosage, something along those lines. Um, so let's just ask, is he going to have another stroke? Because I'm seeing this incident on Air Force One, and it was very vivid. It's like he gets up and he tries to walk, but his leg and his arm don't really allow him to. It's like, imagine if your leg was asleep and you're trying to walk on it. Like if you've been sitting in a weird position for too long, something along those lines. And it, the emotion around it, because I'm seeing it from the external point of view of viewing him, is one of concern, is what the people around him see. I don't know what he is feeling himself. Is he going to have another incident like this? Yeah, I think the three of wands, it's inevitable. This is it's going to be hard for them to figure out how to control, because he's not going to want to go in and do, all the tests that need to be done, because he's trying to cover it all up. Yeah, it's very clear to me this is going to happen again. Yeah, we get the card for loss, the Five of Cups, the loss of the ability to move half of his body. Loss, and you could just even see the imagery here. The guy's like shaking off the cold, right? His cloak's all pulled tight, and he's in this posture of nervousness because of the loss. The end of a very big cycle in the environment around. Yeah, the deceit and the deception is probably the downfall here. The trying to keep this quiet is probably making things worse, rather than just going and getting fully checked out and seeing exactly what's going on. Yeah, his health is in a very downward trajectory, the Eight of Wands, but the wands are pointing downward. Again, the Three of Pentacles. at the center. This is his doctor's giving advice, but I don't think he's taking it. I don't think he's taking their advice. Getting the Six of Cups, thinking about the next generation, thinking about his family. The Knight of Cups, he's taking the medicine. That's the imagery that I'm getting from that card. I know that's not what it means, but um, he's taking the medicine, but he's doing it kind of in secret and maybe not as directed, might be taking too much. He's got lots of good health people around him, though, with the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, there's the Death card. I'm not surprised that that's there. So, yeah, the loss of mobility will be intervened by health practitioners, but I think it's just a matter of time before death comes to visit. And he's taken the medicine, but probably not as directed. This could also be because of some cognitive issues of not being able to fully comprehend when and where to take it, right? And, also keeping a crazy schedule because he doesn't sleep because, that's him. And so the health people are there and everything's being kept secret. And they're doing these things under the cover of stealthness. And the environment around, there's a lot of healthcare practitioners. He's thinking a lot about his family, though, particularly his kids and grandkids. He knows his health is on the decline. And we get the World card, which is the end of a very big cycle. I mean, you really can't get three worse cards that suggest the end than the Five of Cups, the Death card, and the World card. So it would seem like, I mean, to top it off, we get the Four of Swords, which is also the Minor Arcana Death card. So yeah, the fates are turning against him. Yeah, his head's down. I think he eventually just stops taking the medicine, and that's when this incident happens again. He, I don't know that he stops. He might forget. Um, he might decide he doesn't like the way he makes him feel. I'm not entirely sure. So it feels like something big has shifted um, in regards to him. So yeah, I think that's probably a good place to stop. Um, as always, thank you for watching, and I'll be back with another video soon.